We've all experienced difficult times. Life throws curveballs. Sometimes these experiences stay with us, they leave a mark. This is especially true for traumatic events. Trauma is deeply distressing. It overwhelms our ability to cope. Post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, is a real illness. It develops after a traumatic event. This isn't just a case of feeling down. PTSD changes how our brains work. It affects our thoughts, feelings, and actions. Imagine a car accident. You walk away physically unharmed, but the memory haunts you. You can't sleep. You're constantly on edge. These are signs that your body is struggling to process the trauma. PTSD doesn't discriminate. It can affect anyone, regardless of age, background, or strength. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a natural response to an unnatural event. When we hear PTSD, we often think of soldiers returning from war. While combat is a significant cause of PTSD, it's not the only one. Trauma comes in many forms. It can be a car crash, a natural disaster, or a violent assault. But trauma isn't always a major event. Sometimes it's a series of smaller incidents. Childhood abuse, bullying, or living with domestic violence can also lead to PTSD. These experiences, especially in childhood, can have a lasting impact on our mental health. It's important to remember that everyone experiences trauma differently. What might seem like a minor incident to one person can be deeply traumatic for another. There's no right or wrong way to react to trauma. One of the hallmark symptoms of PTSD is re-experiencing the trauma. This means the trauma doesn't stay in the past, it intrudes on the present. It's like a broken record, replaying the event over and over in your mind. These intrusions can take many forms. They might be vivid nightmares that jolt you awake in a cold sweat. Or they could be flashbacks where you feel like you're right back in the moment of the trauma. Even seemingly harmless things like a certain smell or sound can trigger these memories. These intrusive thoughts and images can be incredibly distressing. They can make you feel like you're losing control, like the trauma is happening all over again. It's a constant battle to keep these memories at bay. PTSD isn't just an emotional experience, it's a condition that deeply affects both the mind and the body. It affects the body too, manifesting in various physical symptoms that can be quite distressing. When we experience trauma, our bodies go into fight or flight mode. This is an automatic response designed to protect us from danger. This is a natural response to danger. It helps us survive by preparing our bodies to either confront the threat or escape from it. But in PTSD, this stress response gets stuck in the on position, even when there is no immediate danger. This can lead to a whole host of physical symptoms. You might experience insomnia, racing heart, difficulty concentrating, or digestive problems. These symptoms can be persistent and interfere with daily life. You might be easily startled by sudden noises or movements, or feel constantly on edge as if something bad is about to happen. These physical symptoms can be just as debilitating as the emotional ones, making it hard to function normally. It's important to remember that these physical symptoms are not your fault. They are a natural response to an abnormal situation. They are your body's way of trying to cope with overwhelming stress. Your body is doing its best to protect you, even if it doesn't always feel that way. With the right help and support, you can learn to manage these symptoms and regain control over your body. Therapy, medication, and support from loved ones can make a significant difference in your recovery journey. Section 5. Navigating a changed world. Emotional and behavioral shifts. Trauma changes how we see the world. It alters our perception, making us view our surroundings through a lens of fear and uncertainty. It can shatter our sense of safety and security, leaving us feeling vulnerable and exposed. After a traumatic event, it's common to feel a range of difficult emotions. You might feel anxious, depressed, numb, or irritable. These emotions can be overwhelming and persistent. You might struggle to feel joy or connect with others. Social interactions that once brought happiness may now feel draining or meaningless. These emotional changes can also lead to behavioral shifts. You might notice changes in how you act or react to situations. You might withdraw from loved ones, isolating yourself to avoid potential triggers or uncomfortable conversations. You might avoid places that remind you of the trauma, steering clear of locations that bring back painful memories. Or you might engage in risky behavior, seeking out activities that provide a temporary escape from your emotional pain. You might find it hard to trust others or form new relationships. Building connections can feel daunting when you're constantly on guard. These changes are all part of PTSD. Post-traumatic stress disorder manifests in various ways, affecting both your mind and body. They are your mind's way of trying to protect you from further harm. These defense mechanisms are your brain's attempt to shield you from additional trauma. But these coping mechanisms, while understandable, can often keep you stuck in a cycle of fear and isolation. Breaking free from this cycle requires understanding and addressing these emotional and behavioral shifts. Section 6. You are not alone. PTSD is more common than you think. You might feel alone in your struggle with PTSD, but the truth is you're not alone. PTSD is more common than you think. Millions of people around the world are living with this condition. In the United States alone, it's estimated that 8 million adults experience PTSD in any given year. That's about 1 in 13 people. And these are just the reported cases. Many people suffer in silence, afraid to seek help or share their experiences. It's time to break the stigma surrounding PTSD. It's time to let people know that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to ask for help. You're not weak for struggling with PTSD. You are not alone. Section 7. Seeking light in darkness. The importance of seeking help. It's easy to feel hopeless when you're struggling with PTSD. The weight of the trauma can feel overwhelming and the darkness can seem never-ending, but there is hope. Recovery is possible and you don't have to go through it alone. The first step is reaching out for help. It might feel daunting, but it's a crucial move towards healing. Talking to someone you trust, like a friend, family member, or even a colleague, can make a world of difference. Sharing your feelings and experiences can lighten the burden you carry, or therapists can make a world of difference. Professional help is invaluable in navigating the complexities of PTSD. Seeking professional help is crucial. Therapists are trained to understand the nuances of PTSD and can offer tailored strategies to help you cope. A therapist can provide you with the tools and support you need to manage your symptoms and work through the trauma. They can guide you through evidence-based treatments like cognitive behavioral therapy, which can be incredibly effective. They can help you understand your PTSD, challenge negative thought patterns, and develop healthy coping mechanisms. Journaling, mindfulness, and other therapeutic activities can also be part of your healing journey. Developing healthy coping mechanisms is essential. Activities like mindfulness, meditation, and regular exercise can significantly improve your mental health and overall well-being. Remember, asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength and self-awareness. It's a sign of strength. It takes immense courage to acknowledge your struggles and take steps towards recovery. It takes courage to confront your pain and seek support. Joining a support group can also provide a sense of community and understanding. And it's the most important step you can take towards healing and recovery. Celebrating small victories along the way can boost your morale and keep you motivated on your journey. Section 8. A journey of healing treatment options for PTSD. There are many effective treatments for PTSD. What works best varies from person to person. It's about finding the right fit for you. Therapy is often the cornerstone of PTSD treatment. Trauma-focused therapies like cognitive processing therapy, or CPT, and eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, known as EMDR, can be particularly helpful. These therapies help you process the trauma in a safe and controlled environment. Medication can also be part of the treatment plan. Antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications can help manage symptoms like depression, anxiety, and insomnia. However, medication alone is not a cure for PTSD. It's essential to address the underlying trauma through therapy. Section 9. Reclaiming your life. Recovery is possible. Recovery from PTSD is a journey, not a destination. It takes time, effort, and support. There will be good days and bad days, but it's important to remember that healing is possible. You can reclaim your life from the grip of PTSD. Recovery doesn't mean forgetting the trauma. It means learning to live with it in a way that doesn't control your life. It means finding ways to manage your symptoms, cope with triggers, and build a fulfilling life. It's about rediscovering joy, connecting with loved ones, and finding purpose. It's about realizing that you are not defined by your trauma. You are a survivor. You are strong, resilient, and capable of healing. Section 10. A ripple effect of hope supporting loved ones, building a kinder world. Supporting a loved one with PTSD can be challenging. It requires patience, understanding, and empathy. Educate yourself about PTSD, listen without judgment, offer practical support, encourage them to seek professional help, let them know that you're there for them, no matter what. Your love and support can make a world of difference in their journey towards recovery. By breaking the stigma surrounding PTSD, we create a more compassionate and supportive world, a world where people feel safe to speak up, seek help, and find healing, a world where trauma doesn't have to define a life.